that was me. Hello.
It's just a black screen.
Hey, we should all be there. Hopefully people can see and hear us now.
Okay. There might be. There we go. Yay! It works.
So, hi guys, welcome to Fast Panda Live, as professional as you would expect, which is not at all.
Hi, everybody. And you four guys.
Okay, this is going to be strange because I can see people. I can see you guys live,
Yeah.
then I can see you guys not quite so live on the feed coming through, so I can keep an eye on the chat. That's weird.
It is a bit weird.
I think I'm going to have to ignore that chat and imaging thing.
Yes.
So yeah.
But hopefully, somebody will maybe private message us if something very amusing happens in the private chat.
Yeah. Well,
possibly.
I don't think there's any. I don't think
Because there's nothing amusing going to happen on here. Let's face it.
Oh, no, that's not true. We're all incredibly funny, just not intentionally.
I was going to say, it's not a plan. That's the only thing.
So we are going to talk about our recent Tale of Four Pandas series. We all had a lot of fun doing it. We thought we'd go through the aftermath with you guys, talk about the models we were impressed with, the models we wish we'd never painted, the tactical blunders we're aware of, and then let you guys tell us about the tactical blunders we're not aware of, and questions about our dubious tactical decisions.
That could be a lengthy section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there might be a lot of I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah.
No.
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah. Do Sphinx have the Shazvasti?
Oh, yes.
I'm going to start a campaign.
I'll get it now, Void.
The worst part about that is I didn't even realise after we checked it had remote presence for the second level of unconscious. It just didn't even twig.
I was shouting at the editing software at that point. Void. Come on, put 2 and 2 together, guys. If it's a robot, how is there a baby?
The baby robot, clearly.
Is that right? Is it we need to talk about the birds and the bees? Do we with how that? I don't know how that works.
That's what
It's
RNA
robots,
comes from,
though.
isn't it? It's robo DNA. No?
I don't know.
Biologists don't PM me. I know that's wrong.
So, if you would like to join in and any comments, just drop them in the chat. That would be great.
Are we doing the proper bit?
What?
I said you were doing the proper bit, and then I talked over you like you told me not to.
Yeah, like I tried to kind of stop you doing.
Sorry.
If you're got any questions, any comments, anything like that, drop them in that chat and we'll get to you. Either that or we'll just kind of waffle on anyway and kind of start insulting each other, especially when Ogre couldn't hear me earlier.
That's the way I like it, though, if I'm honest.
So, yeah, hopefully, chat, you can hear us, you can see us. Do let us know if you can't. But let's make a start, shall we? So, obviously, we've all painted many models for our chosen factions. Which was the model you were most pleased you painted at the end of it? Which was the one that performed best, or you had the best paint job, or you just grew attached to? And we'll start with Ogre because he can't keep his mouth shut, so we'll let him go first.
Oh, how rude! How very rude. There's only one choice, and Steve loves this model as well, and that's McMurrow. Just the guy. And I was just pleased that I got to paint the new model came out while we were doing it. Painted it all up. And then he just performed so well for me, other than maybe in the last game. But at one moment, Dinny Void became invisible, just stood in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, the biggest model on the board, I couldn't see it. But then again, I didn't realise robots can't have babies. So, you know.
There you go. We need to do a diagram for you. But I think for me, he was the best thing. But I've always enjoyed that type of model, and I just, I like doing it. I think impetuous models and big ones like that I quite like as well, because when at the start of your turn. It's that well, what I'm going to do, crazy guy's going to go. And then so you've kind of almost, you don't sit there or stand there wondering what you're going to do first. You just do a thing, and it's charge forward with a great big werewolf bloke and see what happens.
No, I get that. Impetuous orders are great for just getting your brain started at the beginning of a turn.
Exactly.
Yeah, go do a thing.
So he's my favourite. Do I get a second favourite as well?
You can have a second favourite if you want one.
Thank you. My second favourite would be the Asawira. So I've never. Void is a big. Well, I don't know. Thor as well, isn't he? He likes his heavy infantry. I don't tend to use them very often, but that was the Asawira has been a nice heavy infantry model that I've enjoyed using. I liked painting as well. To be honest, that was kind of that's definitely up there, just underneath the McMurrow's kilt, which is a conversation that me and Claw had about what's underneath McMurrow's kilt that we should probably never ever mention ever again.
Well,
an Asawira.
Cordelia found out, didn't she? Cordelia and Scarface. That was the
one. It wasn't. Yeah, we were discussing where they would attach the.
We are still pre-watershed, guys. Just let's just put that out there. We're still pre-watershed.
We haven't mentioned anything. Anyway.
Okay, so
it's somewhere in the world that isn't pre-watershed.
Okay, I'll grant you that one. That one's right. So,
thank you.
Void, your favourite model.
Do you know what? When we got the script for this, I had to think about it, and I was about immediately to jump in with the Guilo because I love the Guilo. It's heavy infantry, and it works really, really well. Then I thought about the Sphinx, and I thought, But I have to admit, and it's purely because he took on a life of his own, but I have to believe it's got to be Eric, Banana Man. Mainly because actually, it's one of those things. It's the camouflage, martial arts, close combat, surprise attack sort of thing that I never really use that much. And actually, don't get me wrong, he did a lot of good work in the early stages, and then towards the end, I think got a bit overshadowed because Ogre knew what I was going to do with him, and a couple of bits of bad luck, and me just being an idiot, got him killed quite a lot. But I have to admit, just the ethos of having him on the table of Eric's there, Banana Man's there, ready to go. I think he's got to be the favourite.
That's fair enough. He was.
And he got a nickname.
He did get a nickname. He was the one with the boarding shotgun, wasn't he? He's your boarding shotgun Caliban.
Yes, he was. I did have 2 Calibans available, but I only brought the boarding shotgun. I did try running 2 Calibans at one point, but I can't remember if that was actually one of the matches we filmed or whether or not that was a test match, but it didn't really work. I basically ended up having one of them sitting there doing nothing while I was getting my backside handed to me. So
there was one. Did we do the panic room or the armory or something? And you just wandered up. One of them did bounced, and the other one wandered up and just got flamed to the face.
Was that panic room?
Oh, I don't know.
All such a long time ago.
No, it was. I think it was armory.
Armory, that was it. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a second favourite as well? Do you want to claim a second model?
I have to admit, that's probably the Guilo, my crutch, my heavy infantry Shazvasti crutch. Mainly, not because he's heavy infantry. It was more for the albedo. It was, that's just, and obviously we'll touch on that when we talk about favourite tactics later, but it's just one of those, it's like, Shazvasti is an army with the mimetism -6 and the mimetism -3, and having lots of access to camo. The worst thing it can come up against is MSV. And having that unit with albedo right at the start, which I can go hunting MSV units and get them out of the way so the rest of my army can run rampant. Only they didn't, but that's more me than the army. Was actually really, really good. So I think he's definitely going to be my second favourite.
Fair enough. It's hard to argue with the logic. Claw, your turn.
Well, it's going to be the Teutonic Knight with Spitfire NCO. He's out and out, an auto include now forever for me. He is just awesome. I like a Spitfire because we find around here when what we play is we play quite heavy built up tables. So Spitfires are generally pretty good with that 2-foot range. Plus he's dodging on 17 just to get a bit closer. and also the NCO free orders just to kind of get him moving, and he's just awesome. And the model that is the current model, where he's kind of he's just absolutely awesome. And I've got to admit, you're painting some up, aren't you, Storm?
I am indeed. Yeah, mine are on my paint desk at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to. And the thing is, I'm not looking forward to playing against it. Which I think says a lot about a profile. When you've got it and you enjoy playing with it, and then you're going to be facing it very soon, you think that's pretty good. So that for me is it gives it 5 stars. Kind of like,
I believe the phrase is "turnabout is fair play."
Well, absolutely, absolutely. It's like the Guilo with missile launcher, isn't it? Not Guilo, the
Noctifer
with missile launcher. That is if you've got it, it's great. You're firing with -9s and things like that, and then suddenly you're facing it. It's a flip around.
Shh, that's spoilers for next week.
Am I facing that next week? Oh no.
No, you've already faced it, but it's going up next week.
It could be there. The thing is, it might be there. It might not.
May not be.
Yeah.
Did you have a second favourite, or would that be another Teutonic Knight?
The Trinitarian Specialist. Now, not a million points. I think the Trinitarian 23 points, and it's just a really good specialist. It's got infiltration, so you're halfway up the board. It's got camouflage, hidden deployment, so you don't have to show it on there. It's a really useful unit, and it'll get the job done because it's that specialist. It's not the cheapest thing in the world, but really, really useful. The Trinitarians.
They are really useful. I will grant you that. And they're not cheap, but you have got the abilities that they are paying for: the infiltration, the -6 mimetism, the hidden deployment. So I can understand why they're not cheap.
Yeah, the cheapest one's 23 points. I'm just looking at that now. That's the forward observer one. You've got a mine layer forward observer that goes up to the 28 points, which is one of the most expensive. But yeah, it's a really, really useful unit. It's not a fantastic shooter. It's not really intelligent, but it's just dead useful.
Am I allowed to speak?
No.
Oh.
Go ahead.
I wanted to ask Claw, are we going to talk about Mendoza later? Or is it now? Now you're talking
into the blunders section.
Is it right? Okay. Right. Okay. That's fine then. I just didn't want to miss out.
No. He's certainly coming. He's certainly coming. So, Storm, what's your favourite units?
I think for me, the one that was a star from beginning to end was the Psychop. The marksman rifle Psychop with MSV1. He's got mimetism. He's a decent gunfighter. He's a specialist. He was in every list from 150 points all the way through to the end, and he generally did quite well. I was pleasantly surprised with the amount of utility I got out of him. For a 25-point model, I thought he did really well, and he consistently well. So he was a surprise for me. I was really pleased I painted him up early on. Second choice, I think I'd probably have to put the Gamma in. I mean, I'm very glad I added him at the end. I ummed and ahed a lot for a long time about what to include at the end. But having that big, chunky Silhouette 5 heavy infantry that could be aggressive. No, you weren't best pleased, Ogre. He was remarkably stubborn.
It just everything bounced off him.
No, I think that would be my second place. But yeah, the Psychop was a very pleasant surprise to me. So I think given that we've done the ones we liked, we should probably go to the other end. Which is the model you regretted painting? What was a waste of time assembling, putting any paint near, and then putting on the table?
Yeah. Well, looking at Void's face, most of it. So look at it. Shall I go first? We're going in the same order.
Well, we'll stick with the same order. So, Ogre.
Okay. There were a few candidates here, but I think the least useful was the Nadir, the new kind of -6 mimetism kind of hidden deployment guy who I kind of think I used twice and just did nothing, and just absolutely useless in even practice games. I suspect that might have been user error, but just couldn't get on with it. And in hack, there's lots of things around 24, 25, 26 points, and he just was nowhere near any of the other choices.
That's fair enough. Sometimes profiles don't gel with people's playstyles. So
No. So
Okay.
that was mine. There was also the Boktar I used, I think in the first game, maybe the second game. So I've already broken it, and I'm going with two choices for this as well. And it's 50 points model. It should have been good, but again, I think possibly not my style. Just couldn't get it to work at all.
Okay, now Void, you're allowed at most two choices. You can't just say all of them.
Yeah.
No, there's nothing wrong with the army. The problem with the army is me. Okay, the monkey rolling dice and making daft decisions. I honestly, my views on the army are pretty evident, and it's not the army itself. It's just me. I can't use them, so I wouldn't necessarily say there was anything that was a waste of paint, but I would say, and this is just one thing, and I'm going to get controversial here. People are going to shout at me. The Malignos. And the only reason I say this, now, the Malignos is a great unit. It's fantastic. Mimetism -6, Specialist, Whip 14, fantastic. But the problem I had, and this is, again, probably down to me in the way I built the actual list. Obviously, I wanted to squeeze in, I always had to take the Guilo because I need my heavy infantry. And I wanted to eventually run the Sphinx. So I could never find the points to justify the extra jump from the Shrouded to the Malignos. So they both kind of fill the same sort of job, if you like, with the midfield specialists. And it's not necessarily the hidden deployment side of things. Obviously, the Malignos has got -6 and it's got Whip 14 rather than 13. But it was that extra chunk of I think it's about 13 points between the Shrouded Hacker and the Malignos. And I just couldn't find the justification to put it in, despite the fact I painted 2 Malignos and they never saw the table.
I know exactly what you mean, Void, because I feel the same way. I keep looking at the Malignus and going, but I can take a Shrouded and a Nox.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It wasn't a waste of paint because I had fun painting them regardless. But I think if I had to choose one, it'd be that, and that's mainly for the reason of I couldn't find the justification to take it when there were other cheaper options which allowed me to take other things as well. But
Okay, so I can understand that. No, I've looked at the profile for the Magnus many times and wondered why would I take that over a Shrouded because of the points hike. I know what you mean. We've got a comment from a regular Shaz player, Steve, is saying that they do take some getting used to. Yeah, hi, Steve.
hello.
They do get used.
Yeah, they are quite different. Especially if you come from a lot heavy infantry focused faction. They definitely take some getting used to. So Claw.
Yeah, Kyoto says, as a bad player himself, he often struggles with good units.
Don't worry, Kyoto. You're in good company. We're all bad.
Well, you've seen the videos, so
oh yeah,
evidence there.
Claw, your turn.
Me again.
Yeah, you again.
Okay. For me, it's the Christian Order of the Knight of the Holy Sepulchre. I know. Sepulchre. What am I doing? He's so expensive. In an army of heavy infantry, he's heavy infantry. And you can spend those points so much better elsewhere. He's a big target. And I tried it a couple of times in practice games, and I just couldn't get anywhere. He got tied up pretty quickly. He's just such a. I couldn't gel with him. He's okay as a unit, and he might be okay when I use him in Pano, a normal Pano army, but in a heavy infantry army, you don't need him. He's got 5 armor. He's got BTS of 9. Great, fantastic. He's got +1 BS attack. He's got surprise attack. He's because of the projector thing, which again, it's great, but you are paying a lot for that. Yeah, it's no, it is. I left him right to the end, and it was down to him or Mendoza. And I preferred the Mendoza profile. We all know what happened to Mendoza, but I preferred the Mendoza for a similar price. Mendoza's a bit cheaper, I think, but he's just a big lump of armor in a sea of armor. I can't see the point of him being a big.
I appreciate it didn't work for you. I quite like him. I've used him several times in my military orders, and he can be really good. He has rolled up flanks before on his own. So, but yeah,
you kind of have to work the hollow echo thing out.
You do
to get him to work.
Yeah, you have to lean on that quite a lot. But yeah,
which is fair enough. It's just I've probably not used him enough, and I've probably not had enough success with him because every time I've used him, he kind of like there. But yeah, for me, my waste of paint for this army would be him. But he's painted up now, so I can use him if I wanted to. It's like there's
use him badly at another time.
Sorry,
you can use him badly at another time as well.
Yeah, I can use him more badly.
A certain skill in that.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at that, especially kind of anyway. Yes, Mendoza. Anyway, but yeah, that's my wasted paint. For me, it's the Holy Knight of Sepulchre.
Mainly because you can't say him.
Mainly
unpronounceable.
So, what's for yours then, Storm?
I don't think it's going to come as any surprise to you, but for me, it's the Omega. I had such high hopes for the unit when I painted it on the profile. In army, looked really good. Ballistic skill 14, -6 mimetism, heavy infantry, blah 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 blah. And I don't know if it's because I was coming up against you and you had 2 very good MSV2 units early on that just the
basic dude. Yeah.
So his one strength was instantly mitigated.
And running up to him with a Teutonic Knight as well, and nutting him that helps.
That's remarkably effective. So yeah, he never lived up to his potential. But as you say, he's painted now, and maybe if I put him in a list when you're not necessarily expecting him, that might do better. Or if I take him to an event and there isn't as much MSV2 as we generally use, he might do better. But
well, I think I had to include those MSV2s because are facing Shazvasti and Sneaky Hakislam model. So, and I knew you had a couple, so I had to stick them in pretty early on.
Oh, I don't blame you at all. Do not blame me at all, sir. But it definitely affected how I ended up feeling about the Omega. So, what do we want to do next, chaps? Do we want to do tactical plays we were proud of, or the ones we regret making?
How long have we got?
Should we start with the blunders and then end on the high?
Okay. Right. So, well, the thing that I was worrying about all the way through was 50-point units. So there was the Boktar that I mentioned, and then also the Sunduck Butt, which, although was amusing to say, and because it included the word "but," I was never really convinced that a 50-point model was going to do it for me. Although it was new, you weren't expecting it quite so much. But again, I could have taken that 50 points and done something different, and taken 2 more skirmish units or something like that, which maybe would have helped me, particularly in like the final game. But I thought stick with what I'd painted and what had kind of worked in the last sort of previous practice games and things. So that was my, I was doubting myself all the way through whether I should take it or not. And I think probably I shouldn't have taken it. looking at the results as they were at the end, I would probably have done better without it. So tactic-wise, maybe sticking with something I wasn't sure about was probably a silly thing to do. And should have gone with something maybe I'm happier with and then know how it works.
If that's your biggest tactical blunder, then you did very well, because I think the rest of us didn't have anything that generic to fall back on.
What I found was, somebody's actually messaged me on our Discord about why didn't I shoot all the Dial Army at the same time in the last game.
I was wondering that myself, but I wasn't going to ask
you. In the practice games and things that I've done, it never seemed to make any difference, however many I shot. And I kind of felt that it was better to make you guys, the opponent, use orders and try and work out what was what, or avoid something that was in camo that could have come out of camo at any point. That seemed to use more orders and be more. It was almost, I wasn't using the Dial Army to kill things. It was the threat of the Dial Army that might kill something was why. And it kind of had worked for me up till maybe that last game, where maybe I should have just revealed all of them and let loose with the Pandas house. So yeah, I was trying to be tactically clever and ended up being a bit of a wally.
I was trying to get you to bring them all out of camouflage early on so I could deal with them.
Right.
So you were also trying. I think you sensed that's what I was trying to do, and you didn't want to play into my design.
Yeah, so. That was it, because I'd chosen to go second, so I kind of wanted to make you use orders. I think if I'd have gone first, and kind of attacked, and then when you came to me, I would have probably revealed all of them and just gone for it. That was. I felt a bit silly. The rest of it, I don't really feel like I made any major hoo-has, other than the very first game where basically nothing did anything and they all just died horribly.
Not wishing to correct you there or jump on you, I was very surprised with how you approached the Sphinx in close combat in the game against Void.
Yeah, that was just me.
You sportingly walked in front of him so he could flamethrower you. I
know. I was so worried about the guys on the other side shooting me. I was kind of thinking, well, if we use the Sphinx as cover, effectively, because when it dies, it'd still be there. I hadn't even thought about that I might, if I may, expose myself to the flamer. It never even occurred to me. Thank you all as well, while we were all in the room, for mentioning that there was no coughs, there's nothing, but nobody said anything. They just got like funny looks, and I couldn't work out at the time. Well, you were all looking at me so funny until somebody went, "Oh well, I'll just get the flamethrower," and it didn't even occur to me. I was too busy worrying about other stuff than I was worried about what had happened there. I think I was so chuffed that I'd got into close combat with the Sphinx, with something that might actually kill it. We kind of completely shut down the rest of my brain. I was overexcited by the prospect. Because he'd got smoke as well, hadn't he? He got smoke.
Did, yeah. So I appear to have, upset Ogre and unleashed a wave of regret.
No, there is. I mean, yeah, I could have done that better. But I think almost. Yeah, exactly. I think Ogre. I can't use 3 days.
Okay, cheers, Ogre. So if you guys in the comments who are watching have any questions about why we did what we did, now is the time to ask, because, the answer is probably going to be, I don't know. It seemed like a good idea at the time, but you can ask. There may have been a logic to it, thin as that logic may be when we start to examine it. Okay, Void, do you have anything?
Yeah, I feel like this is like a Tactics Anonymous meeting. Hi, I'm Void. I can't use an entire army, let alone a FIDE. Okay. Now, in terms of tactical blunders, how much time you got? I think, actually, okay, for my entire back catalogue, please see the recorded videos. Not to mention the fact that I apparently didn't realize that robots can't have babies. We'll just skip over that one. But honestly, I think this is a fundamental thing about why I didn't necessarily gel with the army. Is the fact I don't think I played to Shaz's strengths at all. I still had Claws shaking his head. Yeah, no. Didn't play to Shaz's strength. I think actually, as much as I thought, the classic hand my opponent a blank courtesy list would be funny, not really tactically advantageous. I honestly think that's probably the best way to go. I had too much of a brute force and ignorance mindset, even towards the end when I knew it wasn't going to work. It was too much, right? I'm going to brute force my way out my deployment zone. I'm going to walk over. I'm going to kill people. I'm going to, do the objective as I walk over and that sort of thing. And it worked with other armies. But my one and only tournament win was with Tunguska, and I did that. But Sally and the Kreezer helped in that case. But
we'll not talk about the when you got attacked by the Seal Phalanx though. In that was that tournament?
No, it wasn't that one.
Oh right, okay.
But it's one of those. And the annoying part about it, I think, from my point of view, was deep down I knew I wasn't playing to Shaz's strengths, and I knew I had to change my mindset, but didn't. So don't ask me why. No idea. I knew what I needed to do not what I needed to do to win, because clearly I don't have a clue how to do that. I knew what I needed to do to make the army work better. I just couldn't bring myself to do it, which is very strange.
I think that's an Infinity thing, when you've got a style of play that and you find an army that suits you. This is the whole, there is no real meta in Infinity. There's armies that suit you rather than you suiting. I think that's the whole thing with Infinity, is that, okay, you might not be able to play some armies, but give me Invincibles and military orders. Me, I'm away.
I mean, don't get me wrong, but the whole reason I chose Shazvasti was I wanted a challenge, because I always was the heavy infantry brute force my way out the deployment zone. I'm just a bit. I'm not angry. I'm disappointed with myself that I couldn't adapt to clearly what is a good army. I just carried on playing Shazvasti like I'm a Morat.
Yeah, you weren't sneaky enough, almost. But you also, I always felt you left a lot of your stuff at the back, and you could have moved. If you'd have moved in a wave, and then when stuff died, you would have had more of the wave. But you kind of left it all behind, and there wasn't, which to me was, maybe you were expecting it to last, whereas Shazvasti like a glass cannon and stuff, aren't they?
Yeah.
And they were always going to go down, and then you needed the next wave, and then the next wave.
And I think that sort of hits the nail on the head. It was like I was unwilling to accept they were going to go down, and that's something I've known since pretty much first ever game of Infinity. Is stuff is going to die. Yes, this ARO mechanic is brilliant, and you can shoot your opponent in their turn, but stuff is going to die. And it's almost weird that I, even now, after however many years of playing Infinity, I'm still in that sort of, I don't want it to die. It's my nice favourite model. I just painted it. No. So I tend to
I heard that voice a lot.
I tend to stick stuff at the back and sort of ram one thing forward until it is dead, and then go, oh, it's all right, I've still got more toys to play with, instead of actually having more of a coordinated plan. I think that's my tactical blunder. I didn't have a plan.
Yeah. Okay. That's quite a big one.
So, Claw.
Okay, before I start kind of rambling about what I did wrong, which will take us a while, let's have a quick look at comments. We've got Ralph watching from Germany. Hi, Ralph. We've got Dan watching from Seattle. That's pretty much ends. So if you're watching from somewhere, just pop it in the comments, and it's nice to know where people are watching us. Tim Edwards. Hi, mate. It's been a while.
Tim.
Says it's easy to get focused on one thing, like hitting a sphinx. I think this is a comment towards from you, Ogre, that you forget the other vital information, like flamethrowers.
Yeah.
Thanks,
You
Vince.
do.
But, yeah,
You do. You get focused.
Absolutely.
I see red, and Storm actually says you've seen red, and you're doing this. Well, yeah,
And you go, yes, I know, but it needs to die.
and it doesn't change a thing. I still do it. Yeah, we've got Ralph says Fides are hard to use. I still find that as well.
I'd agree with that, Ralph. I find impersonators tricky to use. I always have glorious visions of them doing spectacularly well, and then they go, meh, meh.
Coyote BD, Fides are my nightmare. They are hard to deal with when you are facing them. Do you ignore them? Do you sacrifice whatever they stood next to and wander off? They really are a nightmare to deal with.
It's like the threat of them is worse than what they actually are.
Yeah, because half the time they fluff anyway.
I know what you don't do. What you don't do is put a blue coat in your list deliberately to deal with the Fide, and then watch as he goes, huh, what?
Dies horribly.
And fails to hit anything.
We've got Chilburn that says Banana Workman for the win. That's aimed at you, Void. I've got Ralph says, who of you wants to continue playing their army they have chosen for this, and who would rather go on to something else? We're going to answer that question a bit later on, probably, and we'll explain why and whatnot in that bit out, but we will get to that question in a little bit. Coyote BD, I'd rather play too many hackers in a nomad list rather than fully nomads good stuff. So you'd prefer many Uber hackers in nomad. You like to play a lot of nomads in your hacker list, don't you, Storm?
I do like a lot of
hackers
hackers
in the nomad list.
I knew what he meant. We all knew what he meant. Yeah, no, many hackers in nomads is fun. Especially when your opponent brings a lot of heavy infantry. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I still remember that game I played against you at the inaugural Fast Panda tournament.
And I refused to shoot anybody.
And immobilized my Cruiser and Sally no less than twice.
And I didn't kill a single one of your models because it seemed wrong.
You two, I came over to watch you, and you two were just giggling away like little girls. Going,
it was one of the most
you were so pleased with
games
yourself.
Oh, dear. Okay, we've got Chilburn. He's coming from Virginia in USA. That's another one in the US. Excellent. We've got Coyote BT from Ottawa in Canada. Yay. And then we've got FE Joe from Hanover in Germany. It's another one at the other end. So
I'm amazed anybody watches. Apparently they watch us all over the world. This is weird.
It is a bit strange. But, if you're watching, drop us a line. Any questions, that kind of thing, we will get round to you. Okay, so back to
you
my...
can't stall. Talk about Mendoza.
Yes. This is going to be good. Settle down, guys.
Yeah, get comfortable. The game in question, what was it, the first round?
It was the first round. It was between you and me.
It was between me and you. And basically, I'd moved into the centre of the board. And I had units start to get rid of in a certain order to carry on moving forward, or I wouldn't move forward. And I had the Trinitarian waiting to pull the trigger on, was it your Cyclops or it was a hacker?
I think it was my Cyber Ghost, my hacker.
Yeah, this is Cyber Ghost. It was a hacker. Who could take out that, then I could move the heavy infantry and then do the next thing and do the next thing. But Mendoza was in the centre. And I really don't know why I decided to move Mendoza. It should have been the Trinitarian all day long. Obvious that I should have done this, spent the next order on the Trinitarian to take out the Cyber Ghost, but I didn't. And I don't know why. It was like I saw it and then I thought, I want to use Mendoza because he's cool. He's lots of points. He can do lots of things, and he's got super dodge, and he can dodge anything that comes, and he's got extra burst and continuous damage. I want to use him. He's got all this kind of like stuff that he's got. He's got like a great long list of tricks and things he can do. So I just kind of had that in my head, and I just moved him out and then spent the order on him. He just got shot to me there. I don't know why I did it.
Holding the camera and watching you do this, I was going, that's a bold move. Because he's going to say like 6 AROs here.
Yeah. The Trinitarian would have been a face-to-face with the Cyber Ghost, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know I don't know if anybody else has suffered that, done something, just had a brain fart. I've got to admit it, it's just a brain fart. And yeah, that cost me the game.
Going back to the aforementioned completely missed McMurder, standing in the middle of the table in the open, the biggest model on the board, didn't even notice it as I walked straight past it, and then suddenly got surprised by an ARO for some reason.
Yeah. Because I thought you'd come up with a really cunning plan, and you were going to do something dead clever and get rid of him, or do something, and then you went, and I went, well, I'm going to ARO against him, and you were like,
yeah, I think where you went wrong there was you assumed I had a plan.
Yeah, there you go. That could have been it. I think what you say, Claude, though, about everybody having brain farts, is we have brain farts on camera. So we get to look back at how embarrassingly, we forgot to do something or did something in the wrong order.
The thing is, I edited that video.
It hurts so much more when you have to watch it again and again and again.
It's just, it was awful. I got to that bit, I thought, I can't deal with this. I'm going to go and get a coffee, have a minute, and come back, and I'll just kind of work through it really quickly. It was one of that cost me the game. Absolutely no messing. That cost me the game, and probably the whole winning the 4, because I think I'd have won you, Ogre.
Ooh.
Thanks.
Ooh. I would agree, though.
Talk.
I would agree.
We need to play each other again soon, don't we? Me and you.
We do. I'll have to come up.
I do agree, Claude, that it cost you the game, because I think it mentally just, after that, you were just constantly looking back going, why did I do that?
Yeah. And the thing is, I'd have got rid of your hacker, which would have mean I could start moving up heavy armor without worrying about being hacked and all that kind of stuff.
You did get rid of the hacker. Mendoza did kill the Cyber Ghost in his charge.
In the death throes.
Yes. Got hit by a flying spleen.
But the thing is, on practice games that I had with some guys in Sutton in Ashfield at Sanctuary Gaming, which shout out to those guys, excellent, thank you. He was pretty good. He was a really useful unit, and I will probably take him again at some point. But yeah,
again, will you? That's the thing.
I will definitely have a brain fart and just kind of go. Pfft.
Oh yeah.
But I think it's because all the things you could do and all the dodging and all the kind of continuous damage and all the +1 burst and all that good stuff. That's you're looking at your piece of paper in front of you. It's like all this stuff this guy can do. I want to use him, but sometimes you can't.
My problem with the Fide, exactly the same. All this stuff, but I'm in combat with a Sphinx. Let's go. Oh, hang on a minute, I've just killed myself.
Yeah, what I want to see.
It's very similar.
What I really want to see on bat reps and YouTube videos, though, is like an internal monologue. I want to see like a little thought bubble come up, and I want to see what Storm's internal monologue was when he saw him doing that. It's probably something like,
"It's not far off. It's not far off."
Well, the thing is, he keeps it quite subtle now. When he's behind that camera, he keeps his face really subtle, so not to give anything away.
Never interrupt your opponent. Never interrupt your opponent when they're making a mistake.
So, Storm, what's your biggest faux pas you thought you made?
I made a number of bad deployment choices, certainly in our early games. So, the one that sticks out in my head is looking at where you had deployed your Black Friar and thinking, great, I'll put my Epsilon to counter that. And in case it goes wrong, I'll put the Ude bot just behind him or just below him over here. Fully aware that the Black Friar had a heavy rocket launcher with the blast template, and then proceeded to put the thing that was going to heal the Epsilon if it went wrong within the blast template. I had loads of stupid things like that in the warm-up games, but in the last 4 games, or the last sort of final games, the one that I kicked myself about was in our game Ogre, when I deliberately spent the orders to put the Millicent Copperbot with its missile launcher into burst 2 with a perfect line of sight down that corridor, and then watched as you spent 5 orders walking back and forth across there and didn't do a damn thing.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, if I'd realised that it was there, I probably wouldn't have done it either. I think both of us completely missed the fact that there was that missile bot just sat there. But that missile bot would not die.
He would not.
It would not die. I've fired like a pistol at one before and it's fallen apart. And it just would not die for anything, would it?
He did. Most of my army against you, for whatever reason, was remarkably durable, which I think is the only reason I stood a chance. I think you should have.
Yeah. It should have gone down. I don't know what was going on.
Okay. Any good comments we need to talk about Claw at the moment?
Nope.
No, it's all gone quiet, has it?
No.
Okay.
No interesting comments whatsoever.
Yeah. Coyote BD thinks we're the best Infinity show on YouTube.
Coyote
I agree.
BD is clearly drunk. But thank you very much. Very kind of you. Right then. What else did we want to talk about? So we did tactical blunders. So I think we're now on to moments of tactical genius. This will take a lot less time.
Very much so. All I've written on my notes were favourite things, killing Shazvasti. And that's all I've written. That's the entirety of what I've written. That's the only thing that was only good at. I think it's not really what I did, but I think Void expected me to take a load of MSV and things like that. And I took none until like the last 2 games. And I think he was expecting, like he had the Guilo with his albedo thing, which never made any difference at all to any of our games because I didn't take anybody with MSV. So it was almost my genius is to not take stuff that the other guys expected. There you go.
Okay.
Whether it was inept, I probably should have done. But I only started taking MSV when I thought I was going to face you two, Claw and Storm, that I might need something. Where I was quite happy to just shoot normal bullets at the Shazvasti that probably would, most of them would have done better with an MSV. But I was going with Claw's more bullets is more better. Is that the correct phrasing?
Yep, that's the correct phrasing.
Thank you.
Okay.
And that's pretty much that. Yeah, it was quite a short list, but mainly killing Shazvasti. Thank you very much.
It's fair enough. Void.
Killing Shazvasti. Shocking.
No, that can't be your tactical highlight as well.
Actually, it could.
Well, it was my tactical decisions that got them killed. So can I, No, I mean, I struggled with this one, and I think my only things that worked tactically speaking were probably my broken record tactic of move up, get into the midfield, and drop everybody into suppressive fire, which I think
that did actually work
than an effective one. I mean, it worked quite well in the armory mission, and combined with the Shazvasti rule that once I actually got in the room, you had to kill them completely to make it go away. But I didn't want to pick on the Shazvasti rule because we all know how that ended. So I don't know, to be honest. I have to admit, I've learned quite a few things, and this was part of the reason why I went for Shazvasti in the first place. I've learned quite a few tricks using Shazvasti and camouflage markers that I wouldn't normally have tried to do previously. In fact, I think my favourite one, and this is why Eric for the win, Banana Man rules all the way through, is in the first game where Eric literally came up the side, came in from behind, and chewed through your entire back line in the first game, and nearly tried to do it again when we did Armory as well, only I completely forgot that you had, I want to say Leela Sharif, but it wasn't. It was the other one. Yara with MSV.
in the window.
And I was desperately trying to drink everybody's blood and get my vampire wounds back just at the same rate you were taking them off.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that was the where we couldn't decide if I'd killed you before you healed yourself. Remember?
Yeah.
And we were discussing it. I don't know whether anybody noticed on that recording that we did, but we actually sent a message on the Discord and we got a reply while we were playing the game that we'd done it the right way around, in that you apply the good things before you apply the bad things.
All I can say is thank God for the FAQ.
Yeah.
Okay, Claw, tactical genius. What was your
For
highlight?
me, the highlight, it's going to be the it's going to be the dodging Teutonic Knights. Basically, you had I didn't have any MSV, so I was basically dodging towards your guy who you didn't like. What was his name? Expensive. You said it was your waste of paint.
Oh, my Omega.
Yeah, when I was dodging towards them, you were shooting me. I was dodging, shooting me and dodging, shooting me and dodging until I got to such a point where I just nutted him. For me, that was great because you don't need to see people to kind of dodge for close and then get into base-to-base combat and nut you. I love that. That was for me. That was great. Dodging Teutonic Knights.
I have strongly mixed feelings about that.
Because you took out my Blackfriar and the Crozier.
I've taken out all your range. Yeah.
So the only way I could get him was to keep dodging until I was face to face with him. And then you haven't got mimetism when you're face to face.
Indeed, I didn't.
So yeah,
it works, didn't it?
Yeah. And they move quite quickly as well.
Yeah, quicker than you think, especially when the board's quite compacted in the smaller games.
Yeah, and they were. So, that for me, for the military orders, that I've never really experienced something dodging with quite so high numbers. That for me, for purely military orders type tactics, it was dodging into close combat and then hitting him with my big sword.
Fair enough.
What about you, Storm? Which
I think the tactical decision I was most pleased with how it played out was in the final game against you, Ogre, where knowing that you had to turn on the console before you could do anything else and were going second and you only had the one specialist left, I left him with this horrible Hobson's choice of coming through the building towards the gangbuster on suppression fire or running around the outside of the building into the missile launcher and the sniper. So he had one model that he had to do something with, and he could either go left and get shot or go right and get shot.
Get shot. Yeah.
And there was a lot of time between turns where it's just Ogre going.
We discussed that a lot, didn't we?
There was a lot
and I
of
was
discussion.
like going, if I go that way, this happens. But if I go that way, then I'll definitely die that way. This day I'll only possibly die.
It was about 10 minutes that wasn't on camera of Ogre trying to decide which way he was going to have the most chance of not being dead. I like making my opponents think. I think it's amusing.
It was good. It was a good challenge, and it looked like it was about to pay off, and then it just went horribly wrong.
Ah well. So, shall we answer? Was it Ralph's question about whether we want to continue playing our armies?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, that was quick. Can you expand on that?
No, of course.
Well, I did ask.
Yeah, I enjoy the Assassins and Hack. I've really enjoyed it. I think it kind of suits me to some extent. So yeah, I'm definitely going to continue. There's models I painted that I've not even used yet. So like some of the remotes and things. So there's lots of combos, lots of things I want to do. So yeah, I'm definitely going to use them. And one of the things is obviously we've ended up with a painted army, haven't we? plus bits. So yeah, they're definitely going to be going out there. There's still a few bits and pieces I'm hoping might turn up, in the next sort of 6 months, year, or whatever that CB might do for us. Kind of fill a few gaps, and that'll be quite interesting. But I think probably the Sunduck Buck and the Boktar are going to stay in the box.
At least most of the time, until people have forgotten you got them.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, because everybody all around the world now knows what I've got, don't they?
Indeed, yeah.
I need everyone to forget it's even there, and that's very sneaky and very assassin. So I think that works well. But yeah, I definitely like it, and I think I'm going to probably wander into full hack as well, and have a look at some of the other kind of sub factions and kind of see what else I can do or vanilla.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely.
Your painting looks great on them as well. So that don't waste that.
No.
All right. Cheers, dudes.
Yeah.
Okay, Void. I know the entire world is expecting you to give one answer. Are you going to steer into that, or are you going to surprise us all by giving us the other answer?
No, you've already seen me put them in the bin. No, I'm not daft enough to get rid of an entire painted army. Because don't get me wrong, there are aspects about the Shazvasti army that I do like. I just wish I was a good enough player or of that same style to take advantage of it. So I think I'm not going to carry on playing Shazvasti by any stretch. But what it has done is it spurred me on. I finally built my Adepticon Morat release action pack. And I think what's actually going to happen is Shazvasti are going to get subsumed into that with the Morats. And I may or may not have just purchased an Avatar and an Anathematic. So
oh no!
Combined is definitely on the horizon. But I'm currently taking
We're not inviting him back, yeah?
White.
Oh no!
In the meantime, I'm picking an army.
It's all right for you lot. The Northwest Division though is about to get upset.
I can understand what you mean. You did seem to struggle with the Shazvasti for whatever reason, but it would be a shame because as Claude said about ogres, they are stunning. They look superb.
They do.
You should definitely get them on the table, even if it's just the odd model here and there in amongst a combined army list.
Well, I think, Void, that once you've got some heavy infantry to storm up the table and a few Shazvasti around the edges to have nasty surprises, a few tricks up your sleeve, I think that's going to be terrible for whoever's facing you, ogre.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's the hope. And to be honest, I'm going to extend that colour scheme out over to the whole of the combined army. Just as soon as I take a break and paint something a little bit more colourful.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You picked white, you Wally.
I also picked an army I can't use. What are you going to do?
Two mistakes.
Okay, Claw. Do we really have to ask?
No, I loved the military orders, and with the other models that I've got painted up for Pano already, it's a lovely force. As you might know, I do love me Invincibles as well, so it's kind of like it's another heavy army, but with different things in there, like Mendoza, which I'm going to really use. I'll be going to go to the Sheffield satellite at the end of next month. We'll pop a link somewhere, so if you want, there's still some tickets available. And I think I want to take military orders because let's face it, I'm not going to win. So let's have some fun, and it was loads of fun playing with those, dodging army and take Mendoza and all that kind of stuff. And I enjoyed playing them. It was good fun to play with. Dodging with a Teutonic Knight with a Spitfire, loads of fun. Get closer, bullet with lots of bullets. It's just Burt. Yeah, that's what the number is. Burt.
So you're going to have another heavy infantry, heavy army, and you wonder why I like a lot of hackers in my lists.
Yeah, I'll be back. Well, I do have the Knight of Santiago, so not all bad. But yeah, I was thinking about taking the military orders that we've been using and that to this satellite. And I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to win. So I'm going to have some fun against 6 opponents or 6 opponents. That I'm just going to, yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be great fun. So yeah.
So chainmail coif and all will be at Sheffield.
Oh, no.
I still have nightmares about that thing.
I think we should have more dressing up. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
More cosplay, you know, battle.
More cosplay in Iron Infinity. Okay. We'll take that under advisement.
But yeah,
And
yes.
I hope the comments don't run with that as an idea and start telling us what we should be dressing up as.
So
I'm not going to break with tradition, Claw. No, I'm going to be playing my O12 as well. I mean, I don't think I've ever got rid of an army once I've got it up to 300 points and kept it painted. Mm-hmm. Even my Spiral Corps, who you know I struggle with mightily, even though I know they're good and they work for other people. They're still on the shelf. I still use them every now and then. So certainly haven't painted the O12, who I enjoyed a lot more than Spiral Corps. They're not going anywhere. They will be a regular feature. I may well branch out and go into the sectorial. I know that's unusual for me. I usually stay vanilla, but I've got to give Stormard a try at some point, I think. But I need a break from painting the green and white, paint some other bits and pieces. But yeah, I'll be painting the odd thing for it here and there, and it'll definitely be growing, and you'll be seeing it on the channel several times in the future.
Oh, joy.
Good.
Sorry.
I was going to say, is that something? Well, I think that we've all got to the point of where we've slightly had too much painting one army. So if we're looking at how this process has gone on and where we've ended up, I think I particularly, once we got to the final, I was like, yeah, I can't paint any more hack or pour any more hack, just for at least for a few more weeks. I felt like I was kind of burnt out of them a little bit.
For me, basically, I was doing the military orders, but I was also painting other bits and pieces in for battle reports that were coming up. So I like to kind of like throw new things in for the battle report every now and again. So I was painting 2 or 3 military orders. Then I was doing a Yujing model or something like that. So for me, I didn't just do one solid army colour. Yeah. So it weren't too bad for me, to be honest.
I have to admit that I got burnt out painting white. So yeah, painting the same army I did get burnt out with. But once we stopped doing it, I actually almost got withdrawal symptoms. I was getting twitchy when I had free time and I wasn't painting a model. So it was a really good driving force and an impetus to actually get other models painted. But yeah, not white for a while.
No, I know what you both mean. Is like there was the pressure to get the army finished and everything painted. You'd look at your painting and go, I really want to be painting that. I don't fancy painting green and white. I want to do X or Y. But you know that's probably just my hobby magpie going, well, you're doing X.
Exactly.
Shiny over here.
So you're right. Instead of looking at the shiny stuff and then eventually not actually painting anything, we've actually painted something and left the shiny stuff to the side. So
I would advise anybody who's watching that, and you've got a few guys in your local friendly game store or your meta or the guy you play against, to give it a go and have certain points, but whether it's once a month where you play that 150 game, where you play that 250 point, it's not a lot of models, especially when you're looking at the army list first. For me, that was weird, looking at the army list, then going out and get the models and sort it out. I would advise anybody to give it a go, to have a go at this, building up an army with friends and playing that small game, playing that medium game and that large game. For me, it was great. I've got a new army. And it gives you that focus, like we were saying earlier. You've got that focus for, I need this done for next Wednesday because I'm playing maybe 150-point game. So you sit down and you paint it. So I would say 100%, if you get a chance, give it a go with a new army, and it's absolutely yes. I don't know if you guys found the same, that because you had that time pressure, even though it wasn't really that pressure.
You had that motivation. Whatever.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
motivation.
it wasn't a case of I can just put this off.
Yeah,
Because we need to get them done, to get them filmed, and etc. etc. But yeah, I would 100% agree. It's a wonderful way to build an army. It's a great way if you're the vocal standard bearer for Infinity in your area of getting new players in and getting them up to what you get a new army, they get to learn as they play up. I would highly recommend it as a way to
for new players, it's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you've got that because you don't have to have just one 150-point game. You can have 2 or 3. Just to get used to those units that you first picked. You can have 2 or 3 games. You're getting to know those units that you've picked, what they're good at, what they're not so good at. But yeah, it's if you get chance, definitely have a go.
And the other thing I would say, sorry, Void, I'll let you go first.
Oh no, it's fine. Go for it.
So this might just be me, but I found once I've painted a model, I'm more willing to give it more time on the table to learn how to use it.
Yeah.
Because I've put the effort in, I need to give it a fair shake, rather than if it's just an unpainted model on the table and it does terribly in its first game, it might go back on the shelf and never get to see the light of day again. But if I've spent some time painting it, then no, it needs at least a second chance.
Yeah. Apart from my Malignos that has never seen the tabletop yet, but I'm sure I can, find somewhere to put it in the future. I was going to say, just back up everything you say. I mean, Infinity. One of the things that attracted me to Infinity and anyone who's ever seen my pile of shame will know I have pretty much every single gaming system going. And one reason the Infinity stands out, but more than anything else, is it doesn't matter if I'm winning or losing. Now, you've all followed along, hopefully, with the journey, and you've all seen my absolute debacle with Shazvasti. And even though I'm sitting here going, "Oh, I hate Shazvasti," do you know what? I've loved every second of it. And to anyone who is thinking of doing this, I'd almost even say it's cliched. Ruler Cool does definitely go with this game. Don't get me wrong, you need some skill to back it up, which was my fault. But go for it. Even if you think, "Oh, I might give that a try," it's something different. Obviously, if money's an option, then do your research. Money's no option, then go for it. But if you're tight on budgets, then there are lots of resources out there to help you sort of refine a play style. But even though I had one hell of a time trying to get to grips with this army and had some absolute spankings on the way, I have thoroughly enjoyed every second of it.
Yeah, we've enjoyed you being along. I thoroughly enjoyed our game.
I was just, as you were speaking then, I was just thinking back to that game that we had that was sponsored by those like mental
Big
sweets.
Steinex.
And which was really weird because we both had a cold, but we'd put it off so many weeks already, hadn't we? That we just had to play a game and tape it, and then we both turned up with like these bags of Jakeman's
sweets and
mental sweets and Steinex. And that was funny. I did know something I want to ask Claw or Storm or whoever's done the header for this. Does it not say Volume 1? Is it a game of 4 Pandas Volume 1 or Season 1?
It does indeed say Season 1 because.
So would that suggest we're thinking, or somebody's thinking of doing it again? I'm
certainly thinking of doing it again. I don't know what faction has, but I'm certainly thinking of doing it again. I think it's been really good fun to do as a player. I like to think it's been quite a good video series that people have managed to chip in and help us as we've gone along. So I have no hesitation in wanting to do it again from my part.
It'll be next year though.
Not right now. I'd like a break, but yeah.
Yeah, totally. That's good. I wonder whether. Well, sorry, I'm interrupting again. I'm just wondering whether, while we've got all our international friends on, maybe we can have a think about maybe we could get other people involved as well, and they can maybe contribute their own kind of videos and bits and pieces that we could chat about. Okay, I've stopped talking now. Sorry. Cats and pigeons and stuff. Anyway, okay, I'll shut up. What's next?
Well, I was thinking about going Ariadne next time.
Oh, really?
I don't have Ariadne. I hate playing against Ariadne, so it must be fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
You get
Oh,
bears.
that's interesting. You do get bears.
Maybe actually go Cosmoflot or whatever, and have bears and wolves. Just furries all over that are immune to everything.
Yeah.
Total immunity.
Viral.
I want lots of total immunity just to go. Double action? Nah.
Yeah,
That's
that
why I've
works.
gone for an army that's got as most viral rifles in it, on viral ammunition as possible, just to make sure that if I do come across McMurder again, I can kill him.
Very nice. I'm slightly tempted by Steel Phalanx. If we're trying to pick something I haven't got, which is not many, but I haven't got any Steel Phalanx at all, any left. So that was that's if I had to, and hopefully by next year all the models will be out.
Well, this would be a problem I would have is what faction would I do? Because I have a few.
You do well. We both do because we kind of like the mix on the channel. But
so I think if I was going to, if we do it again or when we do it again, I will probably pick one of the non-aligned armies, one of the mercenary companies.
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
And
that would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Do that, and I may even put a poll up or ask the viewers which one they think I should play.
Well,
and let them.
Yeah, Tim Edwards on the comments say, would any of you be open to having the army you take next year season to a public vote?
Yeah,
I would definitely.
That would be cool.
As long as you other three don't vote.
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh no.
Cody says more like you only need 10 models. You only going to want a few more specific missions, 10 troops, but don't forget the crazy koalas and the pal box, etc. Yeah, you only need 10 models. That's what he said.
The biggest lie ever told.
Okay, so later in the summer, there's plans for a Seattle area escalation league. Hopefully, build up player base. Do you know what escalation leagues are? Just the thing. It's basically what this was. And I hope, Dan, you've got a planning in place and all that kind of stuff, and you're starting off small and you're bigging up, and it's so. And at the end of it, you get a brand new army if you're choosing a brand new army. It's really good.
Send us links. Let's see what's going on. I'd enjoy seeing that. And if you want, send us messages and we'll chat offline if you like.
Yeah. Okay.
Slide into Claw's DMs.
Steve is giving me advice already for the Ariadne, which is nice.
Oh, brilliant! That's good.
Yeah.
Does it involve that?
Shush.
Yeah, the KTBD is giving me advice as well for Volcalar missile launcher in a 5 rocket pure fire team. Made my smoke surrounding neutrality sad Panda when he learned about Sixth Sense. How Sixth Sense work? Sixth Sense. How does that work again? The rule we get wrong or forget about every time. We do need T-shirts with that. Sixth Sense
Remind
rule.
me, I have Sixth Sense. But yeah.
A big poster on the wall.
Volcalar and missile launcher.
Nice.
I'll remember that one.
There's a model come out very recently for that as well.
It's a nice model too, isn't it? I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
So, did we have any other questions that we had on our list, Claw?
I don't think so.
Have we covered everything we wanted to talk about?
The list I made at work.
Yeah.
It was a slow day. It's fine.
It was a slow.
Yeah, I'm bored at work. I've made this a list. Thanks, Paul.
Well, we covered the models we enjoyed. We covered the models we didn't like. We talked about the tactical blunders we wish we'd never made. We talked about the tactical decisions we were proud of. That took a lot less time. We've answered whether we're going to keep playing the armies and if we do the Tale of Four Pandas again, which was a resounding yes to both in most cases. Dan
asked if there's a Fast Panda Discord, and if not, would you consider starting one? There is one, but the thing is, because we're not a profit channel, and mostly profit channels give access to Discord. If we ever get to a point where we put money on it or a subscription of a very minimal amount, we might kind of open that Discord up for subscribers. But that's a conversation with Stormshard I've got to have at some point, because he's dead set against monetization. I just want to
as far as I'm concerned, we're just some mates who happen to play games and put them on YouTube. I don't see the reason that we should dip into anybody's pocket for that.
My argument is that we'll get a community together. And it's 50-50 at the moment, so it's as it is. But one day it might be opened up for money.
They'll be able to see what we say about each other more. That would be more concerning, wouldn't it?
The only thing that happens in Discord to be insult each other. You're not missing anything.
Well, it's not really insulting. I just tell people what to do.
That's true.
Yeah, I come across on screen as really happy and friendly and that kind of thing, but behind the scenes, I mean, well, you guys know.
Oh, we know.
You're an absolute delight. That's what we're supposed to say, yeah?
Well said, well said. That was it. That's what he told us.
Would you like him? I'll say on screen, would you like him in it? And then I'll berate him. Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah. Coyote agrees with me. Coyote BD agrees with me. Great for community
I don't
building.
disagree. It's just how we gatekeep that without putting our hands in people's pockets, which I don't really want to do.
I know. People don't. We don't need the money, because we do this because we love having games with our mates and filming at the same time. It's just natural for us, and we just want to have a laugh. We don't want to feel that people are kind of relying on spending money to do something that we enjoy. It seems strange.
I think it would be like policing it as well, wouldn't it? Just at the moment, there's not many of us on there, and we just, talk amongst ourselves, and none of us are. Well, I nearly said none of us are idiots, but then I looked and there was Boyd.
That would be a bold
but we kind of, I think it's like we don't want it to get to a stage where we have to police it, really, do we? Or we just kind of, we'll figure it out.
We have to release content. I know we release content every week, but we don't have to.
Yeah,
that's a big thing in that for us. But if you have got any ideas on building a community, because this is, for me, that's what I really want. I want an infinity community around Fast Panda where people can chat and have a chat. So anything that any ideas that you might come up with now or in the future, just drop me a line. You can contact me through Facebook, through the Fast Panda Facebook page, through Instagram, that kind of stuff, and let us know any suggestions to build that community, because that's what I really want. We don't want the money. We don't want all the kind of responsibility. I really want the community, and the more people that's involved, it's great.
And with the attitude of how we play the game, I think as well, is because we play for fun, don't we? And we've joked before about competitive, haven't we? And this, that, and the other. But we never, we're a very positive kind of little group, I think, and we don't, kind of hang on to the negativities and things that kick about now and again. And I think that's something that we want to keep hold of, isn't it?
Okay, to try and drag us kicking and screaming back onto topic, there was one question in your little list that we haven't answered yet, Claw.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've not got it up. What was it?
So, what would we like? What model or models will we all look to add to our armies or our collections for the armies we played?
Actually, it just says next step for the army. That's all the list says.
Yeah, I'm expanding on it because next step is a bit broad. Because Void was to walk to the trash can with it.
Okay, so we're keeping it in order.
Go for it.
I think for me, like I said earlier, I'm going to expand into the rest of Hack. Really, I've got a few extra models and things that I want to have a look at. I kind of like all the super soldier stuff from Rama Task Force. So that's kind of where I'm wandering, I think. But I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But I think that's kind of where I think I might wander into next.
Fair enough. Void, are there any Shazvasti models you've still got an itch to paint?
No, I mean, when I came into this, I don't have it, which is the heavy infantry version of Sheshkin. I like the idea of Sheshkin as a model, as a profile. I'm now 100% certain I could never use it properly, having my experience of Shazvasti, but it was always one of the ones I wanted to sort of try out but never did. It was mainly the heavy infantry version, because obviously the light infantry version does have 2 wounds, I think, but obviously she's made of paper like the rest of the army, and to quote Kip again, I am an idiot, so I couldn't use her properly. So it's one of those, that is a model I'd like to add to actually have some fun with on that. But I think for me, next steps, like I say, it's going to have to be, for that army, it's going to have to be a move into vanilla combined.
Which has been called by one of our commenters. Dan has said that yours is the most expansion needed. It is the rest of the combined army.
Yes. Unfortunately, being a hobby magpie, I have most of it anyway.
You have a lot of opportunities ahead of you. Look at it that way.
Yes, and a lot of shame in the cupboard.
So
it's a cupboard of opportunity.
Yeah. Okay. Any military orders, models, or things you need to, or are looking to add?
Well, there's the other 2 tertiaries that I need to paint up, which, because it's a really nice profile. If for the more technical missions, it would be nice to have 3. Yeah, it would, and yeah, it would be nice to have 3 the tertiaries. So I've got 2 more that need painting up. The also the kind of like arm bots, the bulleteers and things like that. It would be nice to have some of those, but it might be worth waiting for the new models to come out, I suppose.
You might kick off another argument over the nerfing of the Peacemaker.
Yeah, the point. Oh, how much are the points now?
Plus 4 more points.
And as I'm kind of scooting down, there's the infirmaries. The infirmaries and the night hospitalists. I won't mind some of those as well to get some doctors on there.
Not so you can do the Joan of Arc pain train with all the night hospitalists.
No,
you would never do that at all, would you?
No. I've got Joan of Arc. I painted her randomly once because I fancied painting her. So I do have a Joan of Arc. It's just she wasn't painted for the 4 pandas, so I didn't include her. She's also a lot of points. So yeah, that's where I'd like to go. I'd like to finish. I would like some more doctor type knights and the tertiaries. Definitely to finish this army, or kind of the next stage for this army, to get some more tertiaries. So I'll probably end up painting those 2 tertiaries for the Sheffield satellite. Whether I use them or not, I don't know, but it gives me a lot more options for the missions that I'll be playing. So. Yeah, that's where I'll be going for mine. So, what about you, Storm? Where are you going to go next?
I'm going to probably do something that be considered odd. I've painted all sorts of stuff, but I haven't done what I normally do. I normally paint a bunch of the regular line infantry when I start an army, and I haven't painted a single kappa yet. So I feel I kind of should paint some kappas. They'll be good for fire team options potentially in the Starmada. But it kind of feels wrong to not have those basic line infantry painted up for the faction and still have over 300 points I can use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's where, when you first get an army, you do. I like you. I'm very similar. I will start with getting the line infantry out of the way, and then you can play with the toys.
But yeah, I haven't done that.
No, it's a strange way of doing it. And you know, I quite enjoyed it.
So, looking at the comments,
writing the list first.
Coyote says, Void, you need to get some tiger creatures, but they apparently need to be converted to resemble ravenous hippos.
Yeah, well, I've got hungry hippos. Maybe I could just, take them, stick them on a small base, and be fine.
The scale might be a little wrong if I remember hungry hippos correctly.
Well, we've got silhouettes. It's fine.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. And Ralph has a question that I really want to know the answer to as well. Ogre, do you have a Magariba guard? Because I would
No.
love to see you paint up a Magariba guard, because that would look stunning.
That is a great... Right, hang on, I'm going to write that down. Maggie.
Yeah, Ogre needs to do Maggie. I agree completely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Right, consider that challenge accepted.
Is that still the heaviest model they do?
It's got to be.
Must be.
It's got to be.
So.
I don't think they've redone it in COcast or whatever the current one is.
Scrap value's worth more than it is actually to buy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a weighty model. It's the only Silhouette 8 model. Yeah.
Yeah.
She is a lovely tag. She is a lovely tag and a gorgeous model.
Yeah, we don't see yours too often, do we, Storm? I don't know why.
It's because every time I put it on the table, you kill it.
Well, yeah.
I start to
Maybe it's time for the double Maggie list.
Oh,
Ooh.
no.
You just announced you bought yourself an avatar, didn't you?
Yeah, but if you start running double Maggies, I'm going to have to start running double Raichos. And we can have a mine layer launcher off.
Okay, that could be interesting.
Hey,
Although the right show
film
can't.
It's all content. It's great. Just film it, guys. It's fine.
All right, okay, that's good. It'd just be me and Void just arguing with each other about it probably most of the time.
Okay, so we've gone just over an hour and a half, which is about as long as we intended to waffle on and waste your evenings for. So, any closing comments that we'd like to add, guys, before we disappear?
I would just like to say thanks to everybody who put comments on the videos and kind of helped us along the way, because it's lovely to see people liking what we're doing and commenting and helping us, and it really kept me going. I don't know about you guys, but everybody's input was brilliant, and so thanks very much to everybody.
Lovely comments, and thank you very much.
Oh, do we say woot as well? Somebody just types woot.
Everybody says woot. Yeah.
I'm old. I have no idea what this woot is about, but never mind. But no, I do agree with what's been said. The comments are all much appreciated. They're great for motivation, and it's great to see you guys engaging with it. And just watching the channel in general is fantastic.
Yeah, and apologies to all those that supported me. I've let you down.
So they're not angry with you, Void. They're just disappointed.
They're just disappointed.
And they should be as well.
You'll be better next time.
Okay, so this live format, we will be doing it again in a couple of weeks, hopefully. Hopefully you can join us on that one, because we love looking at the comments as it's coming through. So Ralph saying, excellent. It is absolutely the heaviest. Dan saying, Maggie is heavier than early 90s Dreadnought.
Yes.
Yeah, they were heavy. Weren't they?
I've actually got one somewhere. I might have to wave them.
Yeah,
Proxy
me too.
Vetoed. No.
Steve, I had my money riding on Void winning. Yeah, you've let him down.
I've lost people money.
You've lost people money. Ralph, it's been lovely following you all along. Thanks for this series. Guys, keep on rocking. We certainly will. Thank you, Ralph. I appreciate that. But like we said, we will do another live video, live. They're called live in a couple of weeks, and hopefully we can you can join in. And I enjoy the community feedback. For me, it's about the Infinity community. You can't get better than the Infinity community. I don't think there's any game out there with a better bunch of people who play it.
You can't say that, Ogre. We've already established most of our viewers are international. They
wouldn't that's true. That's it. They wouldn't have no idea what we're talking about.
No, I agree entirely with what Claus said. It's great having you guys join us, ask us questions, give us abuse. It's what we're used to.
It is very good.
And we will be back in a couple of weeks to talk about something. Probably Infinity related, but
mostly related.
The way you said that was if you told us something we were going to talk about and we knew it, but you've not told us, have you? And I've just ignored it. All right, okay, that's fine.
Dreadnoughts.
Dreadnoughts.
Comment in if you're watching this after the live. If you want, if anything you want us to talk about, drop it in the comments on this one, and we'll pick it up on the next one. As easy as that.
Excellent stuff.
All right. Thank
Okay.
you very much, guys. Take care. We'll catch you in the next one.
There are.